Have you ever felt that stab in your chest, a pain so real that it feels like it's defining your entire day, your entire life? If you are feeling hurt right now, I want you to pause, take a deep breath, and listen with an open heart, because pain, real pain, is not your enemy. Pain is a messenger, and what it's trying to teach you may be the most valuable lesson your life will ever offer. Have you ever felt that deep ache in your heart? A pain so intense that it seems to take over your thoughts, your energy, even your very being. That feeling when someone's words, or someone's actions, or even life itself, seems to wound you so deeply that you wonder if you will ever recover. If you are feeling hurt right now, I want you to pause for a moment, take a deep breath, and let yourself just be present with that feeling. Don't run away from it. Don't pretend it doesn't exist. Pain, real pain, is a teacher disguised in disguise. It comes to show us something that comfort and happiness never could. Hurt does not mean you are broken. Hurt does not mean that something is wrong with you. Hurt is part of the human experience. Every single one of us has been wounded in some way. Some wounds are visible, some are invisible. But the reality is that pain is universal and it is unavoidable. And yet, it is also transformational. If we learn to see our pain differently, we begin to understand that what feels like suffering is often life's way of chiseling us into the people we are meant to become. Every challenge, every disappointment, every heartbreak is a sculptor's touch, shaping our character, refining our patience, teaching us humility, and helping us grow in ways we never imagined. When we are hurting, our first instinct is often to escape. We distract ourselves, we suppress our feelings, we pretend that everything is fine. But true healing does not come from avoidance. True healing comes when we allow ourselves to fully feel, fully acknowledge, and fully understand the hurt. This is not easy. It requires courage, it requires honesty, it requires patience with ourselves. When we face our pain rather than hide from it, we begin to transform it from something that confines us into something that liberates us. And then comes one of the most powerful acts we can do: forgiveness, not for the sake of the person who caused us pain, but for our own sake. When we forgive, we do not erase the past. We do not pretend that what happened was okay. What we do is something far more beautiful: we release ourselves. We stop carrying the heavy burden of resentment, bitterness, and anger. We free our hearts so that we can move forward. Forgiveness is not weakness, it is strength. It is the gift we give ourselves, the gift of peace and freedom. So, if you are hurting today, remember this: you are not alone. Your pain is real, but it is not permanent. It does not define you. You have the power to allow this pain to shape you, to teach you, and ultimately to lift you to a higher place of understanding and strength. Life may have wounded you, but it also has the power to heal you. You can choose to let your hurt break you, or you can choose to let it build you. Today, take that first step. Embrace your pain, reflect on its lessons, and let it guide you toward growth, compassion, and inner peace. You are capable of becoming the masterpiece you were always meant to be. There are moments in life when hurt feels like a heavy stone tied to your heart. It weighs you down, makes your thoughts swirl, and takes away your sleep. You may feel like everything is collapsing, like the world has turned its back on you, like no one really understands the depth of your pain. If you are feeling hurt right now, I want you to know one thing: your pain is real, but it is not the end of your story. What you are feeling is not a defect in you, it is a part of being human. Pain is not something abnormal, it is something every single one of us experiences. And yet, how we respond to it can change the entire course of our life. It is tempting, when we are hurting, to try to push it away, to numb it, to pretend it doesn't exist. We scroll our phones, distract our minds, and hope that the pain will magically disappear. But healing doesn't begin when the pain stops. Healing begins when we feel the pain fully. Just like when you go to the gym and your muscles are torn painfully before they grow stronger, emotional pain has its own way of building you from the inside out. When we resist pain, we delay our healing. When we embrace it with awareness, we allow it to transform us. This is how true strength is born, not by avoiding hurt, but by meeting it with courage. Think of life as a sculptor's workshop. The block of marble remains just a block until the sculptor begins to chisel it. Every strike may seem painful, but every strike also reveals more of the beauty hidden within. If the marble could shrink from the chisel, it would never become a masterpiece. In the same way, our hurts are not here to destroy us, they are here to reveal something deep within our character. Each disappointment, each heartbreak, each moment that brought tears, has the potential to make you more compassionate, more patient, more wise, and more resilient. Pain is not here to punish you, it's here to teach you. And here is something beautiful: hurt changes with time. Today, it may feel like an unending storm, but tomorrow it will soften. You may find that the lessons you learn from today's pain become the wisdom that guides someone else through their darkest moment. The hurt you feel today could be the very thing that enables you to support someone else tomorrow. There is meaning hidden in every wound if we are willing to look for it. When pain is intertwined with someone else's actions, someone who hurt you, the hardest task is often forgiveness. Forgiveness does not mean what happened was okay. It means that you are no longer willing to carry the heavy burden of resentment. You choose freedom over suffering. You choose inner peace. That choice is where your healing truly begins. So if you are hurting today, remember, hurt is not a sentence. It is an invitation to grow, to reflect, to become stronger, and to rediscover the light within you. Pain may have entered your life, but it does not get to stay forever. You have the power to rise, to heal, and to walk forward with a heart that is wiser and more compassionate than before. Embrace your journey, even the painful parts, because they are shaping you into someone greater than you were yesterday. There are moments in life when we feel a deep ache, a kind of hurt that seems to echo in every corner of our mind, making us question why life feels so heavy. When you are in that place where every memory seems to sting and every thought feels heavier than before, I want you to slow down and just feel. Not run away from it, not distract yourself, but let yourself experience that pain fully. Because pain is not a flaw in you. It is part of the journey that every human being walks through at some point. Pain is not your enemy. It is a profound teacher that comes to help you grow, learn, and become stronger. Many times, what hurts the most is not just the event itself, but the meaning we attach to it. We keep replaying the situation over and over again, like a broken record, reliving the hurt with every repetition. Instead of reliving it, what if we simply reflect on it? Reflection means looking at the pain with awareness, asking not why me, but instead, what is this teaching me? When we shift our focus in this way, we begin to transform suffering into strength. The moment you stop reliving the pain in your mind and start understanding what it is trying to teach you, that's when healing quietly begins. Often, the reason pain lingers is because we hold on to the story of it. We keep telling ourselves what happened, who hurt us, and how unfair it was. But every time we revisit that story, we are reliving the hurt and keeping the wound open. True inner peace begins when we become aware of this habit and choose a different path. We look at the pain, acknowledge it with honesty, and then let it go. This doesn't mean we forget what happened. It simply means we stop letting the pain define who we are or control how we live our life. Think about it like this. Every wound that life gives you has the potential to make you more compassionate, more resilient, and more understanding. What feels like a burden today can become tomorrow's source of wisdom. What you see as a curse at this moment may later reveal itself as a blessing because it teaches you something about yourself that nothing else could. This is the hidden grace in every challenge, that through suffering you have the opportunity to grow in ways that comfort alone could never bring. And when someone else has caused your hurt, the hardest step of all is forgiveness. But forgiveness is not for the person who hurt you, it is for you. When you choose to forgive, you release yourself from the heavy chains of resentment and anger. You allow your heart to be free again. That kind of freedom brings not just relief, but a deep sense of inner peace that no one can take away from you. So if you are hurting today, know this: pain may be present, but it does not have to define your life. Pain can shape you, refine you, and reveal the strength you never knew you had. The hurt you are feeling today can become the wisdom that lights your path tomorrow. And when you walk forward with understanding and compassion, you realize that every hurt was not just an end, but a beginning, a chance to become a more beautiful version of yourself. Sometimes, when life hits us with disappointment or pain, it feels as though our heart is carrying a weight too heavy to bear. It feels unfair, as though we worked hard, loved deeply, and yet we are left with the echo of hurt. In those moments, it is so easy to ask, why me? Why does this have to happen? The truth is, pain is not a punishment or a sign that something is wrong with you. What feels like suffering is often life's way of helping you grow. Pain is like a teacher that doesn't give homework. It gives lessons, and those lessons can transform you in ways comfort never could. When you are hurting, there is a natural urge to escape, to distract yourself, to numb the feeling, to pretend it never existed. But real healing doesn't begin when the pain goes away. Healing begins when you let yourself feel the pain, when you give yourself the space to feel it without shame or avoidance. You invite understanding, and from understanding comes peace. This is like when you lift weights at the gym. You feel your muscles tear, and at that moment it hurts. But that hurt is not harm, it is the process of building strength. In the same way, emotional pain is part of your growth. One of the biggest traps we fall into is reliving our hurts instead of learning from them. Every time we replay a painful memory, we relive the hurt as if it is still happening. We revisit the story of it again and again. But healing doesn't come from reliving, it comes from reflecting. When you shift your focus from why did this happen to what did this teach me, your suffering becomes strength. Reflection helps you see that pain may be part of your story, but it is not your identity. It is something you experienced, not something that defines you. And then there is the matter of forgiveness. Sometimes the pain in our hearts isn't just about what happened, it's about holding on to the story of how someone else hurt us. Letting go of that story doesn't mean what happened was okay. It means you choose freedom over bitterness. When you forgive, you release the heavy burden of resentment, and your heart becomes lighter, freer. Forgiveness is less about the other person and more about your own peace. The world you live in can be much like a university, a place where you come not just to exist, but to learn and evolve. Pain is inevitable, but suffering is optional, depending on how you respond to it. When you see hurt not as a wall but as a doorway, you discover that even when life doesn't turn out the way you expected, you can still grow through it. Let your pain change you, not make you bitter, but make you wiser, gentler, more compassionate. So if you are hurting today, know this: your pain is real, but it is not the end of your story. Pain is temporary. What remains is the strength you build from it, the lessons you learn through it, and the compassion you carry forward because of it. Your hurt does not define you, it refines you. And one day, you will look back and realize that what once broke you also made you. It is such a human thing to feel hurt. When something goes wrong, when someone lets you down, when life doesn't unfold the way you hoped, it can feel like a weight in your chest that you can't lift, like a cloud that refuses to go away. But the very first thing I want you to understand is this: hurt is not a sign of weakness. Hurt is not a sign that you are less. Hurt is part of being alive. Every person you admire has been hurt. Every person who has grown has been touched by pain. Pain does not discriminate, but it teaches. What you feel right now, as heavy as it feels, is part of a process that can deepen your strength and expand your wisdom. When we are in pain, it is tempting to want to escape from it, to distract ourselves, to pretend it isn't there, to bury it beneath something more pleasant. But true healing does not come from avoidance. True healing begins when you meet your pain with courage. Just like a muscle that tears slightly during a workout and becomes stronger after rest and repair, emotional pain is part of your inner strength building. When you resist it, you keep yourself stuck in a cycle of discomfort, but when you allow yourself to feel it fully, you open the door to transformation. A powerful way to begin this transformation is by shifting how you relate to your emotions. Too often we replay painful memories again and again, as though reliving them will somehow change the past. But revisiting pain keeps it alive in your heart. Instead of reliving, there is a deeper way: reflection. When you reflect, you look at the pain not as something that defines you, but as an experience that has meaning. Ask yourself not, "Why did this happen to me?" but "What is this teaching me?" That simple shift can turn suffering into strength. Pain also invites you to let go of the stories you hold on to. The moment you keep telling yourself a story about how hurt you are keeping the wound open. The story becomes a prison. When you choose awareness over reaction, when you name your triggers and understand them instead of being overwhelmed by them, healing begins. Awareness puts you back in the driver's seat of your life. You start responding to life instead of just reacting to your pain. And then there is forgiveness, perhaps one of the hardest yet most freeing steps. Forgiveness does not mean saying what happened was okay. It means that you refuse to let the past continue to control your life. It means releasing the heavy burden of resentment so that your heart can breathe again. When you forgive, you are not releasing the other person from consequences. You are releasing yourself from carrying that weight any longer. So if you are hurting right now, know this: pain is not your identity. Pain is a moment in your journey, not the destination. Through the hurt, you can grow in compassion, resilience, and understanding. What feels unbearable today can become tomorrow's strength. Your hurt is real, but your future is not determined by it. It is shaped by how you choose to rise above it. So if you are hurting right now, if your heart feels heavy, hear this: you are not alone. Your pain is real, but it is not permanent. It is not your identity. Today, you have a choice to let your pain bury you or to let your pain build you. Choose to grow, choose to heal, choose to become the masterpiece you were always meant to be. Thank you, and may you walk forward with strength, peace, and joy.